Hey, you guys, welcome back to this quick segment of briefly talking about both Johnny and Ryan from Married at First Sight season 13. I saw this thrown around a lot about these two in social media about whether or not they're narcissists. We saw some behaviors that happened in episode 11 and 12. So I kind of wanted to just take some time to give my thoughts. Now, again, I am not a licensed counselor. I am not a psychotherapist, a psychiatrist, a psychologist. This is just in conversation dialogue, in my opinion. So these are some of the things that kind of classify narcissistic behavior. Everything from love bombing to gaslighting to sabotaging friendships and relationships, avoiding responsibility, all of the above that's listed here. A huge sense of entitlement, a lack of genuine interest in a person. So I kind of wanted to put that out there. I mean, we don't really know these people. We only know what's being shown to us. They film over 1,000 hours a week and we only get a snippet. But we do identify some of the behaviors. So let's talk about Ryan first. So as we have progressively seen, he started out in one place when they got married. His wife is Brett, and she's definitely been all in. His behaviors have been decreasingly distancing himself. Now, to me, it seems, because I just see him being distant and cold. If you look at some of those things that we've just discussed regarding the traits of NPD, because actually, and that's the other thing, I know narcissism or narcissist is thrown around, especially on social media, and used very, very loosely. It is actually a mental health condition. NPD. It's part of the cluster B. It's, for those who are psych majors and psychologists, you know what I'm talking about. So, I'm not going to go deep in that. You can look that up. But it's actually a psychosis. So, when it comes to Ryan, what I see is that he's just realizing that he is not attracted to his wife. Now, the behaviors as not being attracted, she knows. She knows that, he's not really into her. But because of the fact that he's tiptoeing around her feelings is making it harder, because now he has to kind of not be 100% honest about what he feels and what he says. And even with the whole thing in episode 12, where sleeping on the couch is supposed to help her out versus sleeping in the bedroom, because at least she can see him from the other room. Bottom line is, you two are married and you're not sleeping in the same bed. So I know he's trying not to hurt her feelings, and especially with everything that happened, because she's getting over the loss of her dog and everything. But you can tell all over his face that he's not interested. And I'm going to say the same thing about Johnny when we talk about him. When you are constantly a serial dater, at some point, if you swiping left and swiping right for so long, that human interaction and emotion is just going to go. You're just going to keep swiping. I'm looking for that perfect person. This is who I'm looking for. This not it. This not it. This not it. And he's been a serial dater. Now, we said the same thing about Brett from season 11. And he ended up with a girlfriend that he's been dating over a year. He finally found his person. It wasn't Olivia. But he was also classified as a serial dater. Maybe this might happen to Ryan in this situation. I don't know. We'll have to see. But I don't see narcissism in him. Or, in my opinion, again, I'm not a clinician or a therapist. I just don't see that in him. And I say that because just to the fact that he is tiptoeing, he don't want to hurt her feelings. Narcissists do not care about your feelings. They don't even see your reaction. They even turn your reactions against you in most cases. So for him to be very conscious of the fact that he don't want to hurt her. Yes, he's not being 100% honest in some of the things that he says, but I don't see those traits, because I mean he's just being standoffish. And I mean, it was abundantly clear when he talked to his friend, when he was saying the things that Brett don't do around house and blah 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 blah, and she don't help or whatever. But then when the friend says, well, if you had a supermodel walking around and wasn't doing what you, oh, I'll cook her dinner, I'll cook her food. So he obviously has this ideal person that he's attracted to, and he says that his attraction is less than when it was and when they were first married. So I don't see that in Ryan. I really don't. I know, some folks feeling some kind of way, and I think right now, because the word narcissist is used so loosely, the first moment that somebody don't like what somebody is doing, they even use, oh yeah, you're a narcissist. So, I try to look at the behaviors and see, based on, pretty much what they say, the characteristics. I don't see that in Ryan. I mean, it's just my thoughts. Also, let me know what you think about. Do you see any of those things that was on that signs of a narcissist? Do you see any of that in Ryan? I mean, I just see that he's not attracted, or he's not interested. He's not into her, meaning Brett. And that's so unfortunate, but I honestly think Brett's person is out there. It's just not him. And I mean, I don't, a lot of people like, oh, he's not all that and blah, blah, blah. The thing is, like I said in my recap video, you get to choose who you are attracted to, things like that. Some people you just don't have a connection with, and some people just don't have a connection with you. It is what it is until you meet that person. Now, do I think sometimes people tend to skip over maybe the person for them? Yeah, because of certain things that's unrealistic that they look for. Absolutely. But, I do know that there are times where that's just not your person. And in this situation, I think that's what that is. As much as Brett is trying, Ryan is just not into her. And that's, it's his choice. It's unfortunate, especially in this setting. But I think Brett's person is out there. It's just not Ryan. But do I think he is a narcissist? I don't see those traits that, could apply. Again, I'm not a clinician. Let me know what you think. But let's talk about Johnny. So let's talk about Johnny. Now, in episode 12, and I'm not going to recap the entire episode, but we did see a few things with Johnny that was, from what we were shown, was pretty interesting, to say the least. Some people call it disturbing. I mean, I've seen all kind of terms in my Instagram, because I put a post on my Instagram, and go follow me over there at Romance Review TV if you want to see me, follow my posts over there as well. But on my Instagram, I posted, and some of the terms regarding Johnny was abuser, abusive, sociopath, narcissist. So I definitely had to include him in this video as well. And there's probably some people think the same about Jose, but I don't know about that yet. And I've heard other things with Jose as well. Maybe that's a whole nother video. The thing with Johnny, going back to, because a lot of times things like sociopath and narcissism and some of the other things that's in the cluster B, usually start in childhood. Now, the one thing that we did know about Johnny in his childhood is that his dad left him a long time ago, and it impacted him in a very harsh way. And I mean, even to the fact that when he signed up to get, married on the show, his dad was like, nope, non-existent, no support whatsoever. Those types of things tend to have an impact on kids. Usually, from what I know with narcissism, is that with kids that are emotionally abandoned, they usually turn inward. So they always look about their needs. They turn inward within themselves. Oh, it's all about them. They, need to continuously get that supply from other people. They call narcissists usually emotional vampires, things like that. I'm not saying that he's an emotional vampire, but that's one of the other things that I do know that wasn't mentioned. From what we saw last night, some of the things where he was really rude and very emotional disdain for his wife, when saying, they could have put me with anybody but you. And then when she did put on the table, I'm trying, I do this, I do that, I meal prep. She took the time to learn all of his family members' names. Took the time to do that, and at the end of the day, he decided not to take her, and then tried to throw all of this, what he felt about his wife, to his family. And usually, I'm not a therapist, but from what I've heard, is that they tend to sabotage your friends and family. They need to make you look a certain way, especially if they're about to sabotage something. You don't have to do anything. They can go around friends and family and say bad things about you to turn those people against you. And, if these people, or he has credibility with these people, then those people are usually going to believe him. The thing I do like about his family is that they set him straight. One of the family members saying, what you're talking about is high school. You're not in high school. You need to grow up. So I'm glad they held some accountability to some of the things that he was trying to say, to pretty much kind of break the credibility that she might have had with his family. One of the other things that I remember Bao saying when he told her about his father is that she was willing to go, I think, to California, where he was, and to win him over. So she was willing to do that. And one thing I will say is Bao is willing to put in the work. She's, like I called her yesterday in my recap video, she has a lot of patience and perseverance when it comes to him. But his behavior, how he spoke about her in front of Pastor Cal, how he isolated her away from his family and said those things. Again, I'm glad that they had some things to say to set him straight. The auntie, his aunt, I should say, had said some things as well. You got an unrealistic view in your head. And one thing about the traits of narcissism is that nothing is ever good enough. You continue to reach, you move the goalposts, and he continuously moved the goalposts. This girl wants sex every day. She's been prepping meals. She cooked the bolognese. He said in front of, I think that was at the restaurant last week when he was talking to Jose, she lied about everything. But then when she put him on the spot in yesterday's episode, don't I do this? I do this. I do this. He's like, yeah, but. Okay, so does she do it or does she not do it? Those types of things. Having her question her reality. She's looking like, wait a minute, I do all this stuff and he's saying it don't exist? Yeah. That could be a malform or could be a form of gaslighting. When you question your reality, you know what you've done. You know what you said, and somebody said, no, I don't know what you're talking about. What do you mean you did that? You didn't do that. You didn't say this. What you did do is this. Yeah. So, like I say, do I think he has NPD, narcissistic personality disorder? I will not give that diagnosis. Again, I'm not a licensed clinician, and speaking on this man's life, we have to watch what we say. However, his traits point that direction. It point that direction. Without fully knowing this man, and who knows, he might come out of this and, because I don't see him doing malicious things to the other cast members and things like that, but just the behavior in private with his wife, especially when she's trying It's one thing if she's not trying and this man is trying to pull but it's always about me. Me, me, me. We have not heard Johnny say, I'm doing this for you. What do you want from me? What can I bring to the table with you? She's bringing. Every time he says give, she said, okay, I'll give it. But we haven't seen it. That doesn't mean it's not happening, because again, this is a TV show. We don't know what's edited out. We don't know what's being framed. But based on what we're seeing, what we're getting, it points into that direction. And I'll say it like that because like I say, I'm not a clinician to say, hey, yeah, you have NPD. So let me know what you think. It's interesting, like I said, with Ryan. I just think he's just not into Brett. It is what it is. He's looking for a different woman, a different type of woman. It's just not Brett. And Brett's person is probably out there. I know he is. As for Johnny, the behavior that he's displaying points to that direction of what we saw on that chart. So like I said, let me know what you think. Again, this is my opinion. I'm not a licensed clinician, therapist, or anything of the sort. Just my thoughts talking about a TV show. And then also too, none of us are, perfect. None of us are, unless, I do know Stephanie Lee. She is a licensed therapist. So go over to her channel. She definitely breaks things down. If you don't already subscribe to her, I do follow her because I like to listen to that. I'm a psychology junkie. I like that type of stuff. So, check out her. She is a licensed therapist, but other than that, let me know what you think. Sound off in the comments. I wanted to put this video out there because, that term was flying all over social media yesterday after episode 12 of Married at First Sight season 13, especially when it came to Johnny, and a couple weeks ago when it came to Jose, when that whole blow up happened. But you guys, if you saw my recap on that, you know what my thoughts was on that. I think that whole setup and scene was BS and staged. But, hey, it is what it is. But let me know what you think. Do you think that they're not? Do you think that they are? Sound off in the comments. So until the next video, like, comment, subscribe, and we will see you soon.